Hey everyone, Brendan Snyder here. How are you? Time for another sound exchange session. I got Anthony Covielli here with me.
Good morning.
Yeah.
Happy Monday.
A Monday.
Are we supposed to say it's Monday? We're not supposed to talk about the day.
Yeah, we're not supposed to talk about the day.
Happy day.
Happy day? Right. Doesn't matter what day it is. I don't want to give any more love to a Monday than I give to a Tuesday, to a Wednesday.
It's a great way to look at it. I like that.
Right?
That's good.
All days are good days.
All days are good days.
If music is involved, which is part of our topic here today. Right? It's what got you into music. And, I know it's different for everyone. We've got different things. I've been really kind of racking my head around this. I know that my older brothers, or my earliest memories are me of listening to music with my older brothers. But, did they get me into it? I don't know. Right? So
that's a heavy question, man.
Yeah, so it's sort of like what got me into music. I don't think it's just sitting around listening to music.
No.
It has to do with, for me, I'm guessing, I'm putting more weight on it, saying it's got to be the way that the music moved me.
Exactly. Like, why do you love your wife?
Yeah,
You
right.
know, she caught me.
It's not because someone introduced you to her, right?
It's just, yeah.
It's how she moves you.
Yeah,
Wow, that's a
man.
really good way to look at it,
Yeah, you can't
Music
knock
and love.
people for the things that move them.
right?
And
What about you? I know you tell a story about your uncle giving you music, sharing
yeah.
music with you, and you have another great story. At least I think it's about why you love Mellencamp so much, and it's that story of you riding in the car and hitting your nose while
I think
Mellencamp
it was either my nose or my mouth. I think
Yeah.
I split my mouth open.
But are those reasons you got into music, or just specific instances that are tied to?
I think music got itself into me. I don't really
Ooh.
know if I got into music. I mean, my uncle
Yeah.
was a big thing. I looked up to him greatly as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
So that was an easy, okay,
Right,
this
right.
is why I
He's
might
doing
do
this
this or
and-
want to do this.
Right.
But I remember going to my uncle first and saying, hey, what is this?
Mm-hmm. Do you
And
remember
then
what
he
that
knew.
first band was or thing?
Oh,
that
there
you
was
asked?
many. There was
Oh.
Appetite for Destruction,
Okay.
Master of Puppets, REM, and he recommended I start with Eponymous, which was a kind of like a singles
Yeah.
comp back in 87, 88.
Okay.
He got me my first gift certificate to CD World,
Yeah, that.
which
Okay.
was a big store here in Jersey, a big independent chain.
Now, before that, had you bought any music yourself?
It was a hand-me-down.
Yeah.
When my uncle went to CD, he gave me his records and his 8-tracks.
Okay.
So I had this beautiful, I was the only kid in school, single digits, with a stereo system. I mean, I was 8 or 9 years old, and I had a killer stereo from my uncle.
Wow.
And I played 8-tracks. Everybody else had cassettes. I had records and 8-tracks.
8-tracks.
Yeah.
I wonder how many people got into music through hand-me-down, because that's one of the things that happened to me, where it's like very early, at maybe like 6 or 7, I remember listening to music with my older brothers. But one of my brothers gave me his old Walkman cassette player and a cassette. It was Hall & Oates, which didn't click with me, but he had Pyromania, and I loved the cover of that, and I asked him if I could borrow that, and he let me listen to it, and that clicked.
Really?
Yeah, and eventually he just let me have the cassette because it was always with me. It was never in his collection.
Yeah, my uncle had 2 copies of Appetite for Destruction.
Yeah.
And one of them went to
it
me.
was
CD. It was my first CD. So I already had records.
So wait,
and
man, he
8-tracks.
gave you your first records, 8-tracks, and CD.
And CD.
Did you get any cassettes from him? Probably, right?
No, because he had a
Oh.
cassette player in his car, so he kept his cassettes. Never got his cassettes.
Now I started on cassettes. My older brothers were definitely in records. Vinyl was still it in 83, 84, 85, somewhere in that time frame. But by the time I was getting into it around 87, cassettes were where it was at. So my first things given to me were cassettes. But yeah, it started as hand-me-downs. The first cassette that I got, it was a Christmas gift.
I thought you were gonna say it was a Christmas cassette.
Oh no, Def Leppard Hysteria. I was into the band. My mom knew this. She used some Christmas money from either a grandparent or aunt or uncle and bought that for me. So that was like my first cassette, but I didn't buy it myself. The first thing I went to the store and bought myself, Guns N' Roses' Appetite for Destruction on cassette. And it was probably mid 87 or so, because it was, or whenever about by the time that Sweet Child of Mine was hitting on radio and everything. I way into Welcome to the Jungle, I don't think Paradise City had hit yet, because it's kind of before they really exploded. But
Paradise was more 88.
Was it? Yeah, so I'm thinking, I knew it took that album like a year to explode. But definitely was late, maybe late 87. Anyways, point being, that was the first thing that I went and bought myself. It wasn't, my brother's music. It wasn't anything my friends were listening to yet. It was just something I heard on the radio that moved me.
And you grabbed it.
And I grabbed it, yeah. And that kind of changed everything.
It's like a different kind of move also.
Yeah.
There's shit that, move is move, but there's shit that moves you and then there's shit that shakes you.
Oh my God.
Appetite was, it shook.
That was a thing. That was like nothing on the radio at the time. Just that really down and dirty hard rock.
No, it's hard rock, not glam anymore.
Well, I just filmed a video, and those of you watching, you've already seen it out there, called Simply the Best Rock Albums. And what I'm doing is doing them one by genre. And so I do what's the best rock, the best hard rock, the best prog rock, and so forth. And in there, someone was giving me shit about Guns N' Roses because I listed it under hard rock.
Oh, what's up, dude?
And I didn't put it under glam metal, whereas they know I'm an avid person saying Guns N' Roses is glam metal. And it's true, they started as glam metal, but like we've often talked about, they've risen long above that. Same way I would never put Def Leppard under glam metal.
Oh, Def Leppard was never glam.
They were glam.
No, they came out as a hard. They came out tried to be a hard rock band. They were just rock and roll.
Yeah, they're part of the new wave of British heavy metal. But
I wouldn't say they're metal.
Yeah.
I would say they're rock and roll.
Yeah,
glam.
I know.
No.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So
it's tough.
Yeah. But Guns N' Roses, all that sort of stuff. I grabbed these. So this is the record that I remember the most with my older brothers playing.
I have a Journey thing.
And I love,
Raised on Radio, right?
Yeah.
It's Journey.
Yeah.
I remember that record for some reason.
And I remember every one of these, but my favorite song was Chain Reaction, which was not like one of the hits off of this record. And yet, looking back, it's like, why did that one song on the album not a hit, not, what was on MTV?
It's like the weekend shoppers. They're the ones who got the hits and just stay with the hits and don't think about anything else. And then there's people that are
so what kicks,
like you and us.
Right. What do you think kicks people over from just being the hits? I just want the album that has that song on it, and they don't care what the album looks like. It's
I don't know what kicks them over.
You know what I mean? It's like they want the most songs for the least amount of dollars. It can be a shitty looking album. They just want it, right? And then there's us that are like, oh, I've got to have the original album that it comes on. That's a killer album cover. The album cover speaks to me. The logo, like everything. I mean, they were skydiving, for Christ's sake. Like, I just thought that was the most killer thing on the back of this. And yeah, it totally spoke to me. And another one, this was a cassette that I kept stealing from my older brother. Quiet Riot, Mental Health. Just look at that. As an 8 or 10-year-old kid,
it's insane,
right?
I remember.
I saw that, and I just thought
insanity.
that was the coolest thing. How could that not be? Anyway, I don't know. Those were two albums that really spoke to me right off the bat. That pulled me in deeper than, again, just things that I heard on radio, on TV, or that my brothers were playing, that kind of stuff. It was like seeing this stuff and I remember just staring at it and just thinking like, who's that guy that's behind there? What's going on with him? Why is he crazy? Why did they get locked up? Just having those thoughts to yourself. And that kind of stuff, I don't think happens as much today. With everything being digital, and yes, the art is on your iPhone or your computer or whatever.
It's not
Do
the
people
same, though.
sit around and stare at the art and have these thoughts like we did with these? Turn them over and dissect everything, look at the jewelry.
If they're buying a physical
Yeah,
thing, maybe, but I don't.
right.
You really can't do it online.
I got into it where it was like, oh, this is on, Pasha Records and Spencer Proffer.
I used to read every liner note.
And be like, oh, I'd find another album. I go, oh, Spencer Proffer produced this.
And you got to hear it.
Yeah, I got to hear what that
it
is.
sucks.
Right.
Or not that it sucks. It's just it's different from what you expected, and that really puts you in a rabbit hole of everything.
Right.
Music.
But that kind of switch that clicked in me to make me want to go down those rabbit holes. I've still been thinking about it a lot, trying to really kind of put my hands on it. And another thing I was thinking is, and I haven't done any, this came to me this morning, do you think us hardcore music fans are generally more introverted people than extroverted? And I'm just only going off of the few
Yes.
big music fans,
Yep.
friends that I've had over the years and said, wait a minute, maybe us getting into music the way that we have is partly because we're
Yeah.
introverted.
And music helps us come out.
Yeah. We've talked about this before in other videos where music was a great thing as a conversation starter. When I was in middle school, if I was wearing a Motley Crue shirt and someone else was wearing one, it was like, oh, hey man, you like that band, right? You could make friends that way. Talk about your favorite music. I didn't think about it that way at the time, but it was that.
Yeah. Hindsight now, you think, wow, that's pretty cool.
Right? So I kind of wonder, myself being an introvert, whether or not I got into it, because music is something you do on your own. You don't have to do it with anyone. It's great because you can listen with friends, you can go to concerts, we can do, make videos like we're doing here. Certainly we've made great friends through music, but you can 100% listen, enjoy, collect, research, whatever it is that you love about music all by yourself.
Nobody's going to sit there and reorganize my records for me or clean them.
Right?
And I don't know. Yeah,
Right.
maybe that is, yeah, man, it's some deep shit.
And everyone that I know that is a big, huge music collector is usually really a real organized individual, at least when it comes to their music. So again, I wonder if that's part of it too. Like there's certain personality traits maybe that are why we get into music. It's more than just the sound, the look, the feel.
Having a perfectly lined up stack of cassettes and your friend goes over and touches it and press that one. Like, no!
My cat will, roll over and his leg will accidentally kick one of the CDs a hair, and I have to immediately get up and push that back in.
Yeah.
It's not hurting anything, but it's just not right.
I grew up with a lot of radio, so there was always music around. My mother listened to Z100.
Mhm.
My grandmother listened to whatever the 107.1, which was a country station when I was a kid here.
Okay.
And then my father always listened to CBS FM,
And what was that?
which was straight oldies.
Okay.
They don't, now CBS FM plays everything over here. But back then it was, it was the biggest hits of the 50s and 60s. It was
Right.
never and today.
Right. I know, because oldies stuff that from the 70s is now considered old.
Well, I was disappointed when I became a teenager, and the word today started to come into their vocabulary at
Right.
CBS FM, and they started playing shit from the 70s. I didn't want to hear that.
No, I know. I'm that way with classic rock. I mean, playing Def Leppard and Guns N' Roses on a classic rock station, I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah, it's
To
just,
me, classic rock is a sound, although I know that it's not. It's not a genre.
it's only a sound because it's what we grew up with.
That's
now,
right.
The new classic rock sound is what the generation under us is listening to
Correct.
and saying, oh,
Anything that's 20 years
so
old.
you guys
is-
listen to classic rock.
I've heard Pearl
Fuck
Jam on
you,
classic.
I don't listen to classic
Yeah.
rock, but yeah, we do.
I've heard Pearl Jam and Nirvana on classic rock stations.
It's
and
real.
That really drove me nuts. I'm like, that's from the 90s.
When I first saw The Clash filed in classic rock, that hurt.
Yeah, right?
Because I feel they defy genres and whatever group you want to put them in. It was just good music, and I think that's where I started too. I don't know, because I never looked at music in genres.
Right. You
I
weren't
didn't
like
care.
me.
Everybody tried to force a genre down my throat. So I think that's what made music really internal to me, because I could really take it and prove a point to myself that anything can move you. And it doesn't matter what it is or what it sounds like.
That's true too. I will say, especially when I was younger, I got into so many different types of music, and because I can do it by myself, I didn't have to worry whether somebody else liked it or not.
Yeah.
It's what I liked, and I wanted it, and I bought it, and it's like going to a restaurant with your friends or something. It's like, oh, hey guys, what do you want to have for dinner tonight, kind of thing. Everybody's got to weigh in on it. If you're going to go see a concert live, it was kind of the same thing.
Right.
Who's the opening band? Oh, I don't want to go see them. Whereas it's like music, I had Tony Bennett in my collection, Diamond, but I could also have Guns N' Roses and Motley Crue and Metallica in there.
Yeah, music helped me understand that it was okay to just be whatever it is you are. So if I'm going to go to a show, if you want to go, awesome. If not, see you.
Right. Absolutely.
Same with whatever I'm going to listen to.
Mm-hmm.
I don't fucking care what you like or don't like. It's not going to influence.
What age were you when that happened? When you like came to that realization?
I was the only one of my friends listening to music.
Uh-huh.
I had, again, I was single digits, 8 or 9, and I had a record player and an 8-track player, and all these kids had cassettes. Of course, because cassettes were cool. Well, when I hit 10, 11 is when I noticed kids started having cassettes. Technotronic was big at that time.
Oh yeah, Technotronic.
So I already had stuff for a year or two before them, and I already had all this stuff. So I had all this stuff in my head. I always paid attention to the radio. I would daydream eating dinner because my mother always had Z100 on. So it was the hits of the day.
Right.
So I would daydream constantly, listening to music. I wouldn't eat my dinner, and it wasn't because I wasn't hungry. I didn't like it.
Kasem's top 40 countdown.
All I gave
my
a shit
brothers
about was
listened
the
to that.
sound.
Yeah.
So when kids started coming in with what they liked, I was already a music asshole. Right? I didn't give a shit what you liked.
Music snob.
Yeah.
8 years old.
I didn't care. I know what I like.
Right.
And I don't
Didn't
know
matter
what that
what
is,
was
and I don't
popular.
want. And the more somebody, I guess I've been my whole life. The more somebody tried to tell me something, the less I listened.
Yeah.
Listen to Technotronic.
Yeah.
Nope.
Nope. Not gonna happen.
Nope. You got to hear this.
Right.
No,
I don't.
don't.
Right. Oh, if you like this band, you got to check out this band.
You know what? The best thing to do for somebody, if you really want somebody to listen to something, write it down and give it to them. Right? Or if you have their numbers, text them.
Or text them. Yeah.
Email them.
Yeah.
Because you can say it to your blue in the face. One, we're not going to remember it.
Right.
Partly because we don't care, even though we fully care about it. Like, I want to know.
Right,
but
and I appreciate people telling me.
I do. I love it.
But at the same time, I have such a huge collection.
My brain is going to shit the... So write it down. If somebody handed me a piece of paper with a band on it and say, dude, you got to listen to this.
Right.
I'm probably going to listen to it.
Yeah, probably check it out. It's also a lot about how people tell you. Like you said, if someone's trying to shove it down your throat...
Most of the people were always like that. Again, back to the... We're not going to mention any names.
Sorry.
But back to certain groups that really like to... What do you mean? And
what do you mean you don't like... Yeah.
And you got to realize, man, what you're... So if I'm talking to a 60-year-old man and his classic rock is not my...
Your classic rock.
It's not classic. His time is not my time. So whether or not your people influenced my people, it doesn't matter. It doesn't mean I have to listen to it. It doesn't mean I have to like it to the level that you do.
Right.
I'm not an asshole, and I don't not appreciate it.
Or even respect it. I mean, just because...
Hey, man, lady, how you doing?
Good. Have a nice day.
You too.
She's
beautiful. All women are beautiful.
Yes, all women are beautiful. That's right.
So where were we?
We're interrupted by beautiful male women.
Bringing it to the level that they bring it to. So, just because Pink Floyd moved you, you're 60.
Yeah.
Okay. Just because Zeppelin moved you, okay, that was your coming of age.
Right.
Don't fuck my coming of age up.
I always feel like Pearl.
Don't knock me for the shit that fucking grabbed my balls and shook them and said, "This is your life." Right? The people that do that are assholes. I don't do that to anybody.
Right.
And that's what it always felt like. Those people that bought it into you.
Oh yeah.
No, man. Let the music shake me.
Right.
Not the person holding the music.
Well, and I think too, like, in terms of when we're talking about who got us into music or how we got into music, it's not people that ever tried to force it on us.
No, they're not.
Right?
No, I don't think, because it was excitement.
Yeah, definitely feel.
What's up, Dave?
Oh shit! What's up?
People were excited,
right?
So they wanted to share it with you. But then when do you take that to the asshole level? Like, how many fucking hardcore records did I buy because I felt I had to buy them because your friends... Just because you like X doesn't mean I'm going to like Y and Z, but then you went out and bought Y and Z.
Right. So why'd you go out and buy it if you didn't think you were going to like it, or...
Because then you start becoming a teenage and you start falling into a scene, and the only way you can complete your quest to be in the scene is by owning all of that shit. I mean, it's a...
Yeah.
The same happens in a metal scene and another reason why fuck genres and your categorizations and all that bullshit. Just give me the music, because I don't want to fit with these people. Don't call me. You know what people have been saying lately? Like I'm the fucking grunge guy.
Well,
Like fuck you. What does that even mean?
You are.
Like I like fucking soul and funk more than I like anything. But all these people are like, I thought you only like. First of all, grunge is a stupid term that shouldn't exist. Okay, but it's been a couple of people have said it to me.
right.
Holy shit! When I was a kid, I had long hair. I was automatically a metalhead.
Yeah.
When I cut my hair, I'm just a scumbag punk rock kid. I look exactly the same. I dress exactly the same.
Yeah.
Nothing has ever changed.
Right.
So,
But people go off of only what they know you as, and it's kind of the same thing. I talk predominantly about 70s and 80s rock.
but I don't
I'm
talk
a
about
huge-
grunge predominantly.
You talk a lot about alternative rock. Of
Do
the
I?
Yes, of the 90s.
Is that a thing?
I think it's
Tell me that.
I think it's a counter to me because I am always talking about 70s and 80s rock.
Yeah, but I throw in the 60s.
You sure do.
The 50s.
Everything I don't
hip-hop,
talk about. Right.
Morgan fucking Wade.
But maybe if I wasn't talking about Guns N' Roses or some of these other ones so much, maybe you would.
But I always talk about
Yeah.
Guns N' Roses with you because I'm a Guns N' Roses fan.
Yeah. I know. Well, when I found out you were a Guns N' Roses and Motley Crue fan, that blew my mind.
Yeah.
You know, we went on music hunts for you to grab some of these things, and I was like, what? How did I not know this?
And then
Yeah.
back to the initial topic, music made it okay for me to not. I mean, it's still it irks me. You hear the F words coming out as I start to get excited and
Right.
aggravate me. So, but it gave me, personally, I don't care what you think I am or what you think I like or don't like. I like what I like,
And that's
you
what
know,
music
listening
is all
made that
about.
okay for me to do that.
Right. And I still think I'll go back to that and say, you know, there's the what got us into music, but why did I stay with music? Why did I continue with music and then do it as my own thing? You know what I mean? And I think it's because it's something.
It's the only thing.
It's the only thing that matters.
It really is.
Yeah, but you can do it on your own and not be told. You're not going to tell yourself, oh, you only can listen to this, only listen to that, right? It's like, hey, I can pop this on and put this on,
For a while
you
I
get to and you get to interpret it yourself. But those are some really, you know, interesting things are about music that when you listen to it, it's 100% interpretation from you.
Yeah, I stayed on it because it seemed.
It's like
Right.
art, you know, like a painting, like art. You know, you hear those people talk about and break down what this painting means, and everybody sees something different in it, right? Music is the same way. We all hear something different in it. So I know that when I listen to it, it moves me in a particular way. Doesn't matter if it moves anyone else.
Exactly. I paved my path with melody. That's why I stuck with it.
Yeah.
A good song, a good rhythm, and those were my building. That was my whatever. Those were my cobblestones.
Yeah, your building blocks.
Yeah, and I just built this beautiful road.
Now, when you were a 6 or 8-year-old kid, first getting into music with your 8 tracks and your stereo, did you ever imagine you were going to own your own record store?
Not that young, but somewhere in my teens.
Oh, you
in
did.
my
So
head.
so you had thought about it. You wanted to
I
do.
always thought about it.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
and when I started buying and having all this stuff, I thought,
Yeah.
man, what if I can share this with everybody?
Ah, even cooler.
Yeah.
Well, there you go, guys. So I'm sure you guys all have different thoughts and opinions on all this, but also what got you into music and
Yeah,
why
tell
did
us
you
about it.
click with it and stay with it? These are just some of the reasons that worked for Anthony and I and got
Did
us
you get
into
into it, or did it get into you?
Oh, right. All right, let us know, guys.
See you later. Thanks for watching.
Yeah.